Hi, I'm Kat. I am the sword spotter and the curator of the Sideshow Museum in Uranus. When I started in Sideshow, I was old enough to know better, young enough to not care. Sideshow seemed like a lot of fun, and Sideshow accepted people who were different. I've done a lot of Sideshow acts in the past. Everything from human blockhead, which is where you pound a nail into the center of the skull, to jumping on flaming broken glass, to even pitching the blade box. The blade box is a very important act. The general gist of it is you have a young lady in a box surrounded by blades. Either it's implied that she's an awesome contortionist, or she's naked, or you get to see how the trick is done. And for this privilege, the audience will handsomely tip and walk up and see for themselves. Now, of course, I'm not going to reveal the secret because I have friends who finance their operations via this kind of thing. But if you ever do show up at a sideshow, you definitely have some dollars handy. I started off with fire eating, and then eventually went out to Coney Island to take a class, and happened to be at the right place at the right time. Didn't work for Coney Island, worked for a competitor, and that was the beginning of the adventure. I've been sword swallowing since 2014. That took 3 months to learn. Before breakfast, before lunch, before dinner, never after. The sword does not bend, fold, or collapse in any way. Sword swallowing goes back about 5,000 years to ancient India, where it was originally a sign of dedication to a deity. Now it's just simply a sign of dedication to Sideshow. In the past 150 years, 29 sword swallowers have died, mostly from infection, occasionally from bleeding. Obviously, don't try this at home, especially you kids out there. Kids, if you try this at home, the ER will call you the Shishka kid. The sufficient information was acquired by trading a Tesla coil with a sword swallower. So he and I are the only ones in the entire world that swallows sword and zap it with a spark gap Tesla coil, which is a pretty shocking sight. I added magic sometime around 2014 or so, when I met Williams Magic up at a fair in Montana, and got a couple easy magic tricks. I still have the change bag. Change bag was awesome because it can make things appear and disappear. And that kind of started that off. And over the years, I've gone more towards magic because, well, it's easier. It's not as stressful. And it's still pretty impressive. Prior to 2018, this stuff had to move on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, which, of course, caused quite a bit of damage and stress to not only the exhibits, but also to the staff as well. 2018 comes along. The museum gets put into Uranus. And that, in retrospect, was the best possible decision that I never made. My best possible decision that I did make was to stick with the museum. And it's been a fantastic, amazing journey. I still get to meet interesting people, but instead of going out to perform for them, they come here to see me perform. When I first started Sideshow, I thought it was going to be an occupation where I could make a living at and be weird. Did not expect it to be this successful. Accidentally, I've done something right. I don't know how. I try to keep a low profile. I don't even have a website anymore. And when I did have a website, it was out of date by 10 years. So the main thing that's fun for people to see in the sideshow, two-headed turtles. Definitely, those are the #1 attraction. It's what makes it a better value than Ripley's. We also have unicorns, which are spectacular in their own right. Mermaids, can't forget the mermaids. By the way, in the mermaid section we have a sketch by Philo Barnhart, co-creator of The Little Mermaid. Then we have actual giant memorabilia, like shoes that were worn by both Robert Wadlow and Sandy Allen, the world's tallest man and the world's tallest woman. And then there's all sorts of the usual sideshow oddities. Everything is either really real or really fake, but it's all really fun, according to Ward Hall, who died back in 2018. When you explore Uranus, don't forget to check out all the freaks in Uranus. Catch a show. Remember, I always polish my swords in Uranus. Any trick I do on stage, you can buy in the gift shop. That way, you know how the trick works. And thank you for picking Uranus.